I'll do it.
Long day lay low.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We made it. We did it. We're a little late. That's Angela's fault. Of course it is. It's always Angela's fault. I was here on time. The guests were here on time. Yes, plural. We have two. But speaking of El Diablo, what's up?
Hi, I showed up.
You showed up. That's true.
My dad said 75% of life is just showing up, so I've done 75% of the work today.
I'm not gonna knock his words of wisdom, but I think the percentages may be a little off. But
yes.
But no, good advice. You know, showing up is important. You know, showing up and having your mic all haywire because you just decide to not have a computer. That's
yeah. But I mean, next week I was like, you know, good, you know, positive, or the good news is I have a new computer. The bad news, it's not till next time. So
now, are you gonna have a microphone actually, or are you gonna still use your?
I am getting that next. So
nice.
Yeah, that's the next.
Yeah, especially with your sumo streams, you're gonna want one because the hair rustling and stuff is gonna. Yeah. See, say words, Angela.
Words.
Nope, nobody can hear you. That just because of that, I'm bringing in our guests. Nope, you screwed it up. You screwed everything up. There you go.
This is gonna be a great stream. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You see what I have to work with, fellas. Like. I feel like the doctor in Batman '89 when he's working on the Joker. He's like, you see what I have to work with, you know. The train.
We hear you loud and clear now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
And we're gonna rearrange this. So what's up, guys? Welcome. We haven't done one of these in a while. Before we get to the whole. Kit and Caboodle. I know Shelby was live. I don't know if he's still live. Everybody go subscribe to Shelby, American Discord. He was doing a great art stream. But let's say hello to the chat real quick.
Yeah.
Who's here?
First was Genuine Comics. Hello, how are you?
Hey, guys.
We got Dark Side. Oh, is it? Is that you guys?
That's me.
All right. I was like, that looks familiar. And we have House, Tears.
Yeah, there's David.
The other one. Anyway, yeah. Very cool.
Hey,
Billy.
Mike.
Cheers, Billy. Good to see
What's up,
you.
Billy?
Hey.
And we've got Dale in his house. So
Yep.
yeah, good to see you all.
No, like I said, I know Shelby was live. I was watching him earlier. We kind of share the same audience. So
Okay.
yeah. So hey, it's the internet. People stream when they stream. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everybody gets worried about that. They're like, I don't want to stream this person. It's like you're gonna.
Right, and that's what replays are for. So
Exactly. Yeah.
replays are for.
It's inevitable.
So yeah.
It's inevitable. Like you were telling Marinus, you were telling me earlier that you were doing a stream, right? And everything's going haywire before you went live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was because this, you know, it was my. I mean, this is my very first, you know, comic project that I'm doing it myself. I was co-writer on Blackheart Manor years ago. Was a magazine, horror style, black and white, really cool. And but you know, when I went live on Michael Bancroft's channel, I said, okay, everybody was counting down, and then I forgot something to add on the Indiegogo page, and it did go live.
No, yeah, David, I don't know if you've had this problem too. It seems like every single launch campaign that you do, there's always something right before you go live that you just did not do, and then it just doesn't go.
Yes, I've had that also. Also in Bancroft. Also like
Also on Bancroft. Yeah, see,
it's just like you gotta make sure it's on Bancroft. This is important. Of course.
It has to go right, and we checked everything like 3-5 times, and I don't know, somehow Indiegogo doesn't save certain information. And not sure what it is.
Or like you verified it, like you verify your email or whatever. Like, oh, good, I'm verified. And then listen, that was months ago you verified it. And then all of a sudden you go live. It's like, you're not verified. It's like, yes, I am.
Exactly. I did it.
I did it already. Right? Yeah, it's crazy. And I've never done a Kickstarter. David, have you done a Kickstarter?
I have done Kickstarter. Yeah.
Is it similar in that regard?
No, I think it needs to be approved. Like someone checks it, But once they have it approved, it's kind of smoothly. You just, like, okay, go live and
boom, it goes live.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because eventually Inkspots and I are probably going to end up doing something with Frog G over on Kickstarter, maybe like
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe something like that in that regard. But like with Indiegogo, it's been like issue. Like Marinus, like the first one, so it's you get used to that user interface.
Yes,
setting everything up and doing all that things. That's like Fund My Comic. I don't know the back end on their user interface. I don't know how good it is. So yeah, but and I'm a firm believer, stretching things out, putting different campaigns on different sites, getting the most money that you possibly can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that definitely.
Yeah, we were after this 30-day campaign, we're gonna extend to the 60 days. Try to get the money.
Yeah.
To create this book, and we're gonna go on Fund My Comic and Kickstarter as well, right? I mean, broaden your audience and all that, and the more funds that we can get, the better product for volume 2, because this is a free parter, and it would be great if people enjoy the comics so that we can make another one. I mean, that's the goal.
And before we get into some more questions here, let me ask you, how did Marinus, how did you first get into comic books? Because it's a very niche thing.
Oh yeah,
something very common. So
well, to be honest, I believe around 7. I'm not sure how it all went, but my dad or my mom or my parents just bought me a comic. And I mean, I live in Netherlands, right? So we have a lot of European comics, like Dukes and Asterix and all that stuff. And I like that a lot. But I wasn't familiar with the Fantastic Four and the Incredible Hulk. But it was all Dutch translated. And not only that, I live near the German border. So we have also this mini pocket books like this thick with all of these classic 70s, 80s from Jack Kirby. I fell in love with comics, man. So like European comics and American comics at the same time. But in the 90s, I believe, begin 1995, we had access to American comics. So I dumped all my, let's say, my Star Wars, my Transformers, my Dutch versions, and I tried to collect the American ones.
Okay, yeah.
And since then, and then I believe in 2000, not entirely sure, but at some point I just stopped collecting comics, because collecting comics and reading comics and talking about comics in the Netherlands is very niche, right? It's not just like the US that, in my opinion, in my mind, it's normal that you do this, right? Somewhat, but in my mind it is so. But when I talk about, to adults, hey, I'm collecting Superman and Batman, they go like, what kind of weirdo are you? So, yeah. Not sure how it is in America, but
okay, in America, like how it used to be anyway, like 80s. I'm born in 78, so 80s and 90s, like late 80s, mid late 80s, we started collecting stuff like that. But
right.
No, it wasn't like a cool hip thing. If you talked about comic books when you were a kid in school, you were made fun of. You were a nerd.
Oh,
you were picked on. But and I think that's more of a cultural thing in a way as time goes by, because like now, yeah, it is more common to talk about comic book movies. Comic books in general, nobody cares. Like if I were to go talk to, like if somebody saw, I just saw Winter Soldier, it's dope. I'm like, oh yeah, well, when Captain America turned into a werewolf, that was kind of weird. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, in the comics, like comics. What those, they still make those? Like they get surprised. So yeah, in America, it's still very undergroundish, I guess you could say. People are just more shocked because video games have become the norm in movies. The print media is the way of the dodo, almost.
Back in the day, comic books were also like just at the front checkout, and you don't see them anymore. So
yeah,
the idea of it still being an art form of entertainment is pretty foreign.
Yeah.
So what's before?
So yeah, so in America, like it's talking about comic books in general. No, it's like people more or less just like look at you like you're a freak. But if you talk about the comic book movie now, now they're more interested in like, oh yeah, they'll have the Superman shirt, but they know jack about Superman.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And David, you've been on the show before, but it's been a bit. How did you get into it? What was like? Do you remember your first book? Like, your little journey, as to say?
I don't remember my first book. That was a while ago.
Okay. I kind of do, but it's okay.
So I think the first comic that I started seriously collecting was Spawn.
Ooh,
when
nice.
it came
Oh
to
yeah.
Mexico.
Cool. Yeah.
And yeah, that was it was a fun comic. And like I grew up in Switzerland and Mexico, so in Mexico it was more like the influence of the American comics, and in Switzerland more like the influence, like Asterix and Obelix, like more like European comics,
Yeah.
and mangas,
Yep.
So that was my other big, I guess, influence was manga. And I think that I didn't get into comics seriously until later in life. I think I was working as an intern in Green Lantern, actually, the movie,
Oh, okay. Oh,
in
wow.
the art department. And then I was like,
Oh, cool.
there's all this comics and this. Okay. That's when I think I bought Kingdom Come and read it. That was
Oh man,
actually
that's so good.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
dope one. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, oh, okay, this looks good, and then I go to see the comics, and it was something completely different to what was happening in the movie. That I found something very interesting, that people, what most people are confronted with is the movies, and usually they have like nothing to do with what's actually happening in the comic at that moment. Which
Hey,
seems to me like a crazy missed opportunity. Like, why are the people who are making the comics not like immediately emulating what is happening in the movies? No.
Yeah, and like I can understand maybe like a new story if you want to go that route, but like that's why I always say I love Sin City or 300. Like they took the comic and they just made it a movie. Like they didn't even do anything. If you're gonna do like the Dark Phoenix saga, the storyboards are there. Like I understand you got to introduce all the characters and everything. That makes sense, but comics are essentially just storyboards. Like in all reality, they're highly detailed, finely tuned, well thought out storyboards, but they're still essential storyboards. Like if you watch Sin City, the first Sin City, and you pick up the books like A Dame to Kill For, or stuff like that, The Big Fat Kill, you can follow it panel by panel for shot and almost word for word. Like it's almost a complete reiteration of the book. And like you said, it's all right there. Like, I don't know how you could screw anything up. Now, I do understand, like, if you have a comic made in the 70s, like the tech isn't the same or all this stuff, like you can update it. Don't modernize. I hate the word like, modern audiences and stuff, like they'll say that. Like, I understand modernizing in a way as far as like tech goes, but making it like changing it to fit today's current like social standards is a little much, like I understand some things maybe, but there's you can tweak here and there, but once you change, there's some things that are just pivotal that you need to keep, and they tend to change those. But yeah, you're right, like everything's right there, just like, so I don't understand why they don't do that. So who, like,
and it's like, one thing that I kind of hate is, I understand, like you say, I can understand modernize some stuff, like the clothes is different, the tech is different. Makes sense. Maybe some sensitivity issues to a certain degree can be understood. But what I don't understand, when they start doing things out of spite, like, oh, we know you like this guy because he's blonde, so we're gonna make it black. Yeah, it's like that.
Right.
It's like, that's stupid. That's not modernizing. That's just like slighting the audience, because
it's so, like, even still, like in the comics, like if you want to follow even that route with the current Captain America, I've always said, like, Falcon is a dope character in general. Like Sam Wilson is a great story in the comics. Like he's a cool dude. You don't need to give him another persona as like, oh, now I'm Captain America, I have more respect. Like, why can't he just stay Falcon and be somebody that people look up to as Falcon? Like, it fits. It's a great story. And my whole issue is also, and I haven't seen the movie, I'm sure it's fine and fun or whatever. If you liked it, great. But the new Cap movie, I'm sorry, he's fighting a super powered entity like the Hulk. You're dead. You're a human. You're a regular dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're dead. Like, you're not Iron Man. Like, you know what I mean? Iron Man had to put on the Hulk Buster, and even still, he got the crap kicked out of him. So it's like, I understand these are comics, and you got to throw reality out the window, and you can do whatever you want. But even in comics, there's some grounded reality. What's up, Cranberry? There's some sense of a groundedness in physics. Like, you know what I mean? In chemistry and biology, there is still some sense of a grounding. Like, like, it's fake. We all know it's fake, but we take these seriously because we grew up with this stuff. Like, I like you said, Marinus, like I kind of got out of comics when I was in my early 20s because I was in my early 20s. You know what I mean? Like I went on, did the early 20 thing, but we grew up with these things for like, I'm a middle-aged man now, so a good 30 years of my life, I've been collecting comics off and on. Like, it's like people with sports. They're adamant about their sports teams. And when you change the name of the sports team that they love, they tend to get a little upset. So I know that's an American thing that I'm.
Well, not entirely. I mean, I'm a guy like myself. I like now I'm sounding old, but I like the things the way things are, right? Because I think, if for instance, Superman, right? If you're changing everything that makes Superman Superman, he's not Superman anymore. The same with Spider-Man, and now we have thousands of Spider-Man, Superman family, Batman family. Okay, to a certain degree, I can get, but there's just too many the same heroes. Nothing ever is changing significantly, right? I mean, what does Miles Morales add to the Spider-Verse, except that he's black and he has a little bit different powers that is now beyond the spider powers, right?
Right.
And he's still calling him Spider-Man, which makes things confusing because we already have a Spider-Man.
Right.
For instance.
And let's take that as a great example. He was a cool character when he was in the Ultimate Universe line. Like, absolutely. Nobody had a problem with him then. Like, he's actually a good character if you look at him aesthetically in that universe. Once you inject him into a universe where you have Peter Parker, Spider-Man, okay, yeah, you can still keep, but like, you're not Spider-Man anymore, dude. I'm sorry. Like, you're not. You got to, and I think he's something different now. I don't think he's called Spider-Man anymore. I don't even know. I haven't collected a Miles Spider-Man in a while, but still, it's a fun character. But like you said, why? Angela, try to be as still as you can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted and I came back. I'm so sorry.
No, there are clicks and sounds. I just want to, like, we are highly professional.
I'm actually talking in African dialect. I don't know if you can tell. Sorry.
Hey, we try to cater to all sorts of ethnicities, and we're a very diverse group.
We don't discriminate.
Yes. Yeah. No, we don't. See, that's why I'm doing the African dialect.
We only discriminate against Noah, so there's
yes,
but no, but like you said, like, you have this now, you have a billion Spider-Man, you have billions, like, that's why what we do, and I love what we do, is because there's a lot, like, and I have seen some where it's not so much original, but a lot of original content in this indie scene, a lot of original ideas, original stories, new characters. And that's the thing, if you're working for I understand, I tend to go on tangents, but I understand, like, if you're working at Marvel and you come up with a cool new character, if you develop it at Marvel keeps it. Like, it's theirs now. So yeah. I think that's one reason why a lot of these creators that are artists and stuff, they don't want to come up with anyone new because they get screwed. But
good point.
Yeah, and that's why in the indie scene, what we're doing is fantastic, because we could come up with as many new characters as we want.
Original ideas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are creating our vision, and because the big two isn't providing us for what we need. And to be honest, I read a lot of Image comics right now, because what they are doing with the Transformers, with
Transformers dope.
Yeah, and G.I. Joe. I mean, I wasn't even a G.I. Joe when I was younger, but
I would say, being overseas, I don't see you guys being big in G.I. Joe.
No, not really. I mean, there were some cartoons here and there, but it was very limited. So all this, I missed the whole G.I. Joe craze that happening in America, and we just missed that. So I just now, how do you say, getting caught up with all of the things that has transpired and with the Image comics, and I'm want to get the big bundle that was on Kickstarter with G.I. Joe and Cobra. Was some kind of a Kickstarter with this.
Yeah, it was that crazy thick volume.
Yeah, I need to get that right.
Yeah, I didn't somebody already have it, or is it already out? I don't know.
Yeah, there's the Kickstarter was a hardcover, and then they released it in softcover.
Because I think Shane showed it off, didn't he? I could have sworn he did on one of his shows. But I know my friend Dan Plagle, he's a big G.I. Joe guy, and he wants those as well. He has almost every G.I. Joe issues.
Man, I'm so jealous. Right.
Yeah, dude, he's missing only a few of the later issues, like the later ones that are lower print runs. There's only a couple, but other than that, like, he's got almost the entire run. I liked the cartoons when I was growing up. I never got into the comics, sadly enough, because Storm Shadow's dope and Snake Eyes and stuff like that. Yeah. But like the silent issue, I actually did a book homaging the silent issue, like a silent
okay.
comic. But I also love Sin City, and Sin City had a book called Silent Night, and that was a silent comic. So I tried it. I tried my hand at it. I kind of accomplished it. I'm a first time creator, so hey, I did okay. But I know that's interesting. You're into like G.I. Joe and stuff like that, but now you're trying to get the image stuff. There's some decent Marvel stuff. Like, as I told you guys before the show, I can't really read the chat. So I haven't really read a comic in a while physically, just because it takes me so long. I have to use my phone. I kind of have to bend it open. I don't like ruining things. I can read them online, and I have done so, but
are you more of a collector?
I'm more of a collector. Like, I still back stuff like Red Eyes and stuff because there's dope artwork. You know what I mean? And I love that. And David's a good dude, so win-win. You know what I mean? I don't mind supporting a solid cat and getting some good artwork. So I will end up. I'm pretty sure there's digital versions of Red Eyes, right?
No, unfortunately not.
How dare you, sir?
I think it was for the first issue. I think the Red Eyes one had digital, and then the others no.
Well, there's digital versions of Gemini Crusader, right?
There is a
there's a digital
version of
there you
Gemini
go.
Crusader for sure.
I can read that one. So, there's not many blind collectors out there. If you've seen Phantasmagorical in chats, she's legally blind as well. So she usually will have like her family members read her comics, or I think she can read them too if they're digital. She's more blind than I am, but we're both legally blind.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what and that's what I love about what we're doing here. You have great individuals, awesome people like Faith in the chat and stuff like that are supporting artists, even if they can't read it. They just love it. They love the fact that we're all passionate about what we do, and that we love this medium so much that we're going to sacrifice hours, days, months of our lives to get a funding going. Maybe get, if we're lucky, profit of maybe $500, and then go on to the next one. So, like, it's not like we're making bank on these things, you know. What's Billy saying?
That you use blindness as an excuse.
No, I use blindness as a lie. I'm actually not blind. I actually have been blind this whole time. I like to be driven around like you have my chauffeurs. You know,
free rides.
Chauffeur, drive me to the store.
With your pinky out. Oh my god.
That sounds like a plot of a movie.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Like even me, I'm a collector as well. Like I'm a buyer. I'm not just a creator. Like I'm a fan. I'm a collector. And when I see cool or hear cool IPs or ideas, like it sparks my interest. Even if I can't really fully read them, I can flip through them, and the artwork will still tell the story as well. So if you have a good artist, if your artist is a little iffy, it might be a little tougher to read at that point. But no, and we have, like I said, we have great fans because they love that we love what we do. You have to love it.
I mean, that was one of the reasons that, where I come from, like I said, there is no fan base. Just, there is some fans, but it's very little. And then when I came on, formerly known as Twitter X, and I just get to know like-minded people, just like David and other people as well. And I get to know more and more people. And I said, dude, I finally found people that has the same passion that I have. And it was so refreshing for me, talking about, finally, can I talk about comics instead of, hey, buddy, like my friend, he was I saw the MCU movie. That was pretty good. I thought, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes that and his family likes that. And I'm okay with that. But, but if I'm explaining to him what it's actually like, he just looks at me like, really?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it's not just the middle age. Angela, I swear I'm going to shoot her.
Am I making noises? We got three more people.
The cardboard tunnel again.
Yeah,
let me go get my earphones. I'll go get my earphones.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Don't
stand still like this.
Yeah, just stay like that.
It's either in a wind tunnel or a closet. What do you prefer? Because the closet, if I have the earphones, I'll sound like the sound. Let me go get my earphones.
You're fine. We're just making fun of you as
I
we
know, but I don't want it to.
You're fine.
Are you new to the show? Of course I'm going to make fun of you.
Well, no, I know, but I don't want to anyway. I'll just try to be as still as a mouse.
No, you're fine.
I will not
I'm
move.
just joking. But
Okay.
the thing is, it's not just the middle-aged people like you talk to about it's even kids. Like I live with my nephews and stuff like that. They love the comic book movies. They love all the like Star Wars and everything that's out.
Oh, yeah.
Like they'll devour it. But this like I hang out with comic artists and creators and people that have worked in the field, and I have a vast collection. They want nothing to do with it. They don't care. They could care less about comic books and reading them. They'll watch the movies, they'll play the video games all day long. But even when it comes to the younger generation, at least in my family, like I have seen, and I don't know, David, if you've done any like local cons or conventions or Marinus, I know this is your first book, so you will be getting to cons, but
yeah.
I don't know if you've had anybody come up to you that is younger, that's like a kid. I've had a few, and it's great to see the little, the children come up and be like, "Oh, this is so cool," and then they flip through your artwork or look at your comic book and like, "Oh." So, have you seen any interaction in that regard?
I have seen, like usually it's like 13-year-old boys that are showing interest, and there's like, oh my god, are you 18 already? But yeah, no, in general, yeah, I've seen a mixture of people in my age or older that get interested in. It's like, oh, that's something indie, and younger people, and for the most, and you know what? A lot of customers have been, girls that are into Dungeons and Dragons. That's like the other big people interested in my, at least in my community.
Hey, some person.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you say that it's indie because it's harder to get like the younger and the younger person interested in what we do because it's not it's not Spider-Man, it's not Wolverine, it's not Batman, they know understandably so. These characters have decades upon decades of just integrating into society and just bombarding you with everything, so it makes sense. But it's tougher to get. Like I said, it's that great feeling of seeing like a younger individual coming up, and oh look, Dad, this looks dope. Yeah.
What I've also had is people come to the table and see, and then ask like, "Oh, is this something original?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like the original." "Oh no, then I don't want this. If it's not Spider-Man, if it's not Batman, I don't want." And they like literally leave the table. Yeah, I've had that as well.
Well, that's what I was telling Luke Alietta, Death Metal Hero. I heard an echo there for a second. Death Metal Hero, like he had a lot of like just independent artwork that he would do, and he'd be at a show, and it was like, dude, you got to do fan art, like you got to do prints of fan art of Batman and stuff like, because that's what'll sell. Like you want your dude, I want Frog G to sell all day long. I want Prince of Frog to sell, Prince of Samurai Priest to sell. That would be great. Original art, awesome. But when I draw Wolverine, that sells like hotcakes. Forget about it. Like not just the fact that it's my artwork, whatever, like it looks different and interesting, but it's like, hey, I like this character. I want this character on my wall. So, and it makes sense. Like I got Wayshak artwork everywhere, but I own a lot of stuff that he drew of other characters.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Wayshak fan, dude. And Sankeith as well. And we're speaking of which, not to interrupt, but what were some of your guys' influences, Marinus? Like, what drew you into like wanting to write all this stuff? Like I mean, that's a different thing. So, who are some of your influences?
Matt Wagner, from the Judge Dredd series. I grew up with a character called Storm, and Storm is drawn by a UK artist. I thought it was an American artist, and he has a very painterly style. And it's about an astronaut that goes into, accidentally in some kind of a spot on Venus, and then he's been transformed thousands and thousands in years, somewhat into the future. And then when he came out of it, he's more like, it's not really the future. It seems that the world has been regressed, but also at the same time, modern technology and even future technology in here. And he's the only one that recognized the technology. So he comes across a barbarian girl called Red Hair. It's just very simple, and that's his traveling companion. I mean, if you can look up Don Lawrence.
Don Lawrence.
Yeah, Don Lawrence.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, that's so. It basically every book has a new adventure that goes a little bit further into that world. So he can never come back. But he, moves from basically a world or a scenario to a scenario to a scenario. So with European comics, is a lot. Took mostly 2 or 3 years to make, and it's about between 50 and 60 pages, and then you have to wait another couple of years to get it. But it's mostly oversized and or in hardcover.
So it's kind of like what we do. Like, you make a 60, 70 page comic, 48 page comic, then you wait another year, you get the next issue, stuff like that.
So, but those aren't being crowdfunded. That's just how
it's done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And no, I just looked up the artwork. That's pretty dope stuff. Right? I really like. I'll check it out. I left the tab open. But no, like it's the reason we do the crowdfunding is we don't have the finances. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like we have like Image paying us like other artists to like come in and ink it or color it or something. We have to raise the funds for that if we can't do it ourselves. You know what I mean? Like if I did the whole thing with Frog G, inks, coloring, co-writing, script. So we only have the 2 people. We don't have to. We don't have to pay anyone in that regard. But if we wanted a letterer, we'd have to pay a letterer. So you have to crowdfund it because all that stuff adds up. Like there's you collaborated obviously with David on this book and a few other people. You have to raise the funds to pay for this. Like it's not cheap. So like that's why they could do that maybe over there, but that guy was getting paid to do the book along with other people and such to get it published and put out. Even if it was his book, he's putting it through a publisher and they're paying for other things. So the crowdfunding thing,
like a huge editorial behind it, and
huge. So and the crowdfunding thing is just like Inkspots and I really want to move away from it when we can. Like we're crowdfunding so we can print the books. Even pay for our sometime, I guess that would be nice. Like to make a little profit would be nice.
Yeah,
but it's mainly for inventory in all reality. Like I have a long box, and granted, it's a 50-50 cover of the Absolute One Stormy Night, because now I could take those to shows. I can sell them off, and I have an inventory of them. And that's the main purpose behind the crowdfunding is to get the books printed and paid for any subsequent person that's working on it. You can't afford to pay for it. And that's what you get incentives like stretch goals or higher book quality.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so it's all for the fans and they get a good product. So David, what got you into, like, what are some of your influences? Like who sparked you up? Because your stuff is very fantasy-ish and stuff like that. So.
I think there's a series that has been going on for years, probably since the 80s. It's called The Chronicles of the Black Moon. It's like a European series. It's French. It's also, it takes like a year for every issue to come out, or maybe 2 years, but it's just like this insanely really cool, somewhat realistic fantasy series, and like some of the battles that are portrayed there is like you have like hundreds of soldiers that are drawn, and then you see them colliding, and it's so crazy. I was like, one day I want to do something like that, and that was like one of my.
I know that one. That's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
It's pretty good. I think that Kyla at what's her name? Kyla Adrian.
Oh, Kayla.
Oh yeah. Kayla, yeah, she posts art every now and then from the same artist who did the Chronicles of the Black Moon. Like he has some other series. I think Requiem was like a vampire series, and he now has like a fairy series.
I know that one.
You know that guy? Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. Like Bancroft, he's big into the European artwork and the styles over there. And I think just like with manga. As Westerners, we kind of were like, "Oh, America's number one," and we are. But we kind of like pigeonhole ourselves. We're like, "Oh, this is where it's at." Like America is where it's at. It's like that's what the internet's fantastic because, like you just mentioned, a dope artist. I looked him up. Never heard of the cat. He's from Europe. It's amazing. Like we get to see all these different influences, and it's something we can really inspire ourselves from and learn from these techniques and trades and stuff that these people doing. Dan Plagle, I mentioned him before. I don't know the name of the artist or the book. Forgive me, Dan. But he has this book where the whole book is like a page is pretty much either a splash page or 3 panels maximum. Like it's usually like just 2 panels, and then the story. But it's European. It's fantastic. The artwork's amazing, and the storytelling is cohesive. Like it's not like it falters only because there's like either a splash page or 1 or 2 panels, and that's all that it is. A very unique idea. Like it's something I've never seen before. I did see it in like I think it was Thor 382 or something like that, where Simonson did pretty much a battle sequence between Thor and the Midgard Serpent, and it was all splash pages. It was just all splash page. It's so sick. It's one of my favorite ones. But,
did you have the collection of Walter Simonson's Ragnarok?
Oh no, I haven't picked up Ragnarok yet. Everybody tells me about it, and I keep forgetting to get it every single time after a stream.
Oh,
J-Bot raves about it. Everybody go subscribe to J-Bot. He's dope. He told me about it, and I gotta pick it up because I'm like, man, I love his Thor run, and like the way he draws those kind of characters is dope. And he did it again. I want it, and I always forget every time I get money, and I'm like, oh, I don't have this X-Men book, and then I buy that one, and I forget about Ragnarok. So
I mean, I don't want to put him on a pedestal, but I think this is, in my opinion, maybe Walter Simonson's best work.
That's what.
Wow.
That's exactly what J-Bot said too.
Yeah,
so
it is that good. His version of Thor is so different, but also so cool. And his art really improved because when I was younger, I never liked his art. There was something about it that I didn't like. But
that's right, yeah.
Just like with Mike Mignola, I really appreciate more as long as I get old. When I get older, yes, exactly. I have that too. Against Apocalypse. Yeah,
Nice.
I just appreciate his art better, and better. And it was the same with Walter Simonson. So I picked up Ragnarok issue #1, and I was blown away. So yeah,
well, I think another issue comes to some of these, and I friends with a colorist, and he's an illustrator too. But a lot of the times, I came to find that I look at those older books, like or Simonson and all them guys, and the art's fantastic. I love it. And then I look at them now, and it's like there's something off. Like it just doesn't look as insane. I think the advancements in color really hindered a lot of their style really lended to the flatter colors. You know what I mean? And now they have all these gradients and just cut and grads and stuff like that. And I think some even ink spots on a Simonson piece would be dope because he has a more painterly style. So. Yes. And I think some things like some advancements can hinder the way things look if done improperly. So you got to have a great team with you. And like with Red Eyes and even Gemini Crusader, great team. Like the book looks dope. So, you know what I mean? You got to know what style lens to wear and what technique goes with who. Otherwise, it's just bupkiss almost. Like it just feels uncomfortable. So, yeah.
Cranberry saying the J. Michael Straczynski run on Thor was also a great run.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
really
Straczynski's dope. Yeah, I'm a big Thor 411 was my first comic. Ever since then, I was hooked and on Thor comics. So I have an extensive Thor collection, which I should probably try to fill as many gaps in as I can. Lately, I've been doing with Uncanny X-Men, the first run. I've been trying because here's my thing. Like I said earlier, since I really can't read them as well, and I've become a collector, I'm going to try to collect things I know I can never complete, like Uncanny X-Men. I'll never get a full 1 to whatever issue they ended on with Uncanny X-Men. Thor, there's no way I'll get like Journey into Mystery 84 all the way on up to whatever they ended with. But it's fun to try. Like I'm mortal. I only have so much time on this planet. But in that regard, I want to do that. But like even Shelby was saying he's like living on borrowed time. And that brings me to this. Like we only have so much time on this earth, so we want to get out as much as we can as far as like these stories go, like and stuff like that. Like, it might take a year to get a book out, but we're also not just putting in as much as we can, but as much quality as we can. And that's another reason why these kind of take a little bit longer. So what are some of the hurdles you've come up with in like doing the crowdfunding things, Marinus? We'll start with you.
I mean, the crowdfunding itself, you mean, or the process?
Both. We'll go with both. Like even getting like trying to find the right team to like even like am I gonna fund? So yeah.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I was approached by Rod Looper. He did Black Tiger with John Herbie on the team, by the way. And he wanted to work with me because, well, we had a good connection and we talk in private a lot. Consider him a friend. And then he wanted to. So I wrote a post-apocalyptic story called The Doomsday Scientist. And it was basically almost finished, but then he came to me, hey, let's do something that is more approachable, more like, that people recognize. So he basically told me that he was looking into steampunk mecha. And to be and I wasn't really feeling that, because not only, I mean, there's a lot of people doing that, and there's nothing wrong with them doing that, but it's not what I was looking for at the moment. So, and he had his third kid, and he has a lot of projects, and the project stood still, and I wasn't really sure how to pick it up, and if Rod really wanted to make that book. And then I showed it to David because I wrote something myself. And I showed to David because David and I, how long did we know each other? How long we've been friends?
That was 2 or 3 years now, I think.
Yeah, around that. And well, maybe you can add something to that, David. What was your initial thought about that?
Well, I remember you showed me some script, that one too, the Mad Max Scientist and Gemini Crusaders, like the first iteration, and I was sold on it. And it's like, it's because it's not really like a kaiju story, it's not really like a mech story, it's like something quite original, like even the design of the monsters, like they're not really mechs with mechanical parts, it's all biological. Like they don't have weapons with ammo, it's like their body transforms into all, and it's like, okay, this is, there is something really cool in here. I let's go with this one. Let's not do this other story. Let's do this one. This one is the
David convinced me to move the project forward, so I did. And then he told me at one point that he wants to collaborate with me, and I know he has a lot of experience when it comes to crowdfunding, and so I learned a lot from him. And we say that mostly every time, but we're bouncing off of each other when it comes to ideas, because the script was almost complete, and then David said, hey, maybe we should do this, and so we tweaked the story a little bit and made it actually better. So we had the story set up, and now we said, okay, now we need a colorist, and we need a letterer, and we need an artist. And I'm not sure how it all went, but I approached a European, Brazilian artist called Sid Tellis, who was the main artist on this book. And I said, hey, we have this vision. Can you make something for us? And he whipped up a creature and a design and said, okay, let's hire this guy in an instant.
We saw his art. We saw several artists, no?
Yeah,
and he had a very realistic style. We saw like a comic that he made, like a Western comic.
Yeah, he did.
But it was really well drawn. Like the horses, the perspective, the buildings. Like, okay, this guy knows how to draw. So we approached him, but then he whipped out this, like you said, like he really could feel the vibe with us, and I think he likes the project. I mean, I hope he likes the project.
I hope he likes what he's doing. Yeah.
I hope so, but still.
Man, I really hate drawing this crap.
Just give me the money.
The money, whatever. Okay, I mean, I don't know. Sorry if you don't like.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult trying to find the right artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm fortunate I could draw my thing, but like trying to find I have trouble finding colorists, and thankfully I found one. But finding the right artist to go with your vision, because like as writers, you're picturing in your head what you want. Like you could see it. Like you can't force yourself to develop it on the paper. So you got to have somebody else do it, and you want them to see what's in your head. Like, draw this, dude, and it has to look just right. So that's got to be kind of challenging then to really weed out that right person and just get that hunt going. That had to be a challenge.
Yeah. Well, one of my criteria I mean, probably people know that from me. Backgrounds. I think backgrounds is one of, in my opinion, for me personally, is very important. If you have, a lot of on the front, like action, you have only, zero backgrounds. I cannot get immersed in it, right? Because everything is on the front.
Well, and that's what's funny. Like if you look at the books from like Image Books, 90s, stuff like that, there's one background maybe every 3 pages. Like
exactly.
And sadly, as an artist, like I grew up with stuff like that, so I kind of got used to the whole just do this and no background, do this and no background. And I am guilty of it. Like I will do like maybe a background a page if it calls for it. But I try not to. I'm like, hey, ink spots will do the background. I don't have to worry about it. And I feel I'm just kidding. I will draw a full scene if it's my, like you guys. So I don't know if Marinus, you've seen Absolute, but Dave, you've seen Absolute.
Yes, both
I
of
have
them.
backgrounds.
I saw them.
Like, yeah, but I hate drawing backgrounds, dude.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? Is it just boring to people or something, like static buildings?
That's the thing. It's not that it's difficult, which it kind of is to like do perspective buildings and stuff like that, maybe, but it's boring. Like you want to draw the cool action sequence, the guy grimacing or the sexy lady, you know, stuff like you want to draw the fun, cool things, not like here's a rectangle, here's another. Like you don't want to do that. You want to draw the cool, dope stuff, you know. And so like I get that. I joked with Ink and like, oh no, or Billy. I was joking with Billy when I was drawing the page. I'm like, oh, now I got to draw 4,000 leaves because I was drawing like, you know, a forest type scene. And he's like, Billy's like, yeah, draw the leaves. Like, I don't want to draw leaves, dude. Like, triangle thing, triangle thing, fun. I want to draw a frog looking all detailed and like screaming with all these gnarled teeth and saliva going everywhere. Like, that's fun, you know? Like, it's like writing. Like, I'm sure there's boring scenes that you have to write that you just like, I can't wait to get through this slog. You know? Yeah,
well, absolutely. But Sid, the artist, is doing that. You know, I didn't even tell him that. He just do it, right? I mean, I'm going to show you a little bit later a page that I thought, you know what, it was so good. And it really blew me away. We had an idea. I mean, you know what, I'm coming to that a little bit later. You know, it's the fire storytelling page, David, you know?
Oh, well, you know what? Speaking of which, let's look at this. Now, who did the trailer?
Red Gaze.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Red does good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen Red around in a long time, but known Red for a few years now. Yeah, it's a good
he and Katie went on some kind of a trip to mom, like he said. So I'm not sure if it's his mom or Katie's mom, but yeah.
Well, Kate, she's great. Bonds is dope. So yeah, Miriam is good people. And Red's good too. I like those cats. They've always been nice to me, and good friends. So do we have new people in chat, or people?
Yeah, Paulus is here. He just said no backgrounds are fine in moderation. Like half of the panels is fine, but I don't like a comic book that takes place in a void.
Yeah.
So and then, lots of positive comments.
Nice. Yeah. So tell us a brief rundown of what the Gemini Crusaders.
Well, the very, very brief. It's Middle Ages. There is two sisters, and there is a war going on because an ancient evil from 800 years ago has come back, and they are basically found a way to pilot, quote unquote, ancient bioweapons to battle those aliens. Now, what happened? 800 years ago, there was a group of beings from the stars came to warn a village, but since they are looking a little bit weird and funny, they would have been driven away, right? But then something crashed into the mountains, and there is a red mist releasing through the village, and everyone that traversed the village is mutilated, dead, or never to be seen again.
Oh no!
And then there was a war between those creatures that also came from the stars and the beings from the stars. Basically, the beings from the stars are exterminators. But then that was 800 years ago, and all those bioweapons that they pilot, because there was 50 men and 50 women, 15 creatures, let's say that, and they have their own different bioweapon, and they are scattered across the land. Some are still working, some are underwater, some are just destroyed. But of course, these people, living in the Middle Ages, they don't know what it is, right? I mean, are they, where do they come from, right? Because, Middle Ages have a different belief systems. They don't know technology. They don't know space people, or aliens in question. And then this is basically 1 year after it happens. And then we see those cool bioweapons battling the hordes from beyond.
Nice.
Yeah.
The hordes from beyond.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No. How many pages?
At least 32.
32. Nice. So you say at least. Are you planning to expand it, or for some reason, or like?
Well, it depends. And I wanted to tell a little bit more story, but then I think we can also add that in volume 2. But it really depends on if we're going to get it funded. Because if I do 30 days extra after this and fund my comic and Kickstarter, if we get the fundings, I wouldn't mind adding something a little bit extra. It really depends how the campaigns is going, right? But at this moment, 32 pages at least. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a good page count, and that's what's great about what we're doing is we're not restricted. With like comics that get put out monthly, they have that 22, 24 page count restriction on them. With us, you can like 32, maybe 46. Who knows? Could be 53. Like you can even do stuff like that if the story calls for it, you can do it. And like you say, hey, maybe I'll put it in the second issue because it just doesn't quite squeeze in here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It has an ending, or let's say a cliffhanger that leads us to the next issue. The reason that I wanted to 32 pages, I don't know. I just grew up with when comics were 32 pages or around that. So I always in my mind 32 pages. That's the norm.
Yes. Well, I grew up with like 22, 24. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like we're used to these page counts and we're like, oh, that's what a comic is. So I swear, Angela.
A device was added to my account. I hope it was StreamYards. I don't know what's going on, so I'm sorry.
Oh, I hacked your account and I added a real phone that will make sound when you move. Yeah. That's the device that I added. No, you can ask a question? No, go ahead, Angela.
Is this a one and done, or are you planning to expand?
It's a free parter.
What was it?
Free books, free parter.
Oh, three-parter. Okay. Nice. I like that.
Yeah. No, well, one thing that I know doing this indie sphere for some time, like David's been around for a bit. I don't know if he's heard the same talking points. I don't want to say complaints because it's a particular thing that some people prefer. I've had plenty of people say, oh, I just wish these were just single stories that have an overarching theme because you have to wait a year. And there's plenty of people who don't mind. Like I've read comics forever. I've waited months on end for the next issue. And so I don't mind waiting the year-long gap that you have to wait. Like you just said, like, you collect it, like you had to wait the next year for the next issue to come out. So like we kind of are used to it, but that was a guarantee. Like, that book's going to come out next year, or you knew the book's, well, for the most part, you knew the book's going to come out the next month.
Yeah.
I get where their complaint maybe comes in with the crowdfunding scene because of the late books that do happen.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm going to defend that a little bit. And I've said it 1,000,000,001 times. Real life gets in the way.
100%.
This isn't our full-time job. This is our second job. So a lot of people, like I work a full-time gig. InkSpots has like more than a full-time, like for Pete's sake, he even recently just fell into a thing and like got bitten by red ants. Life happens. What? Like, you know what I mean? So there's things that do happen that slow the development of a project when it comes to what we do here. And dude, if you were getting paid, like if you had to do this as a regular clock in, clock out 8 hours a day, you would easily be doing this minimum 1 book a year.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, life gets in the way. I mean, if something happens to the artist or to me or to David or whatever, it just stagnates, or vacation, family stuff. Unfortunately,
Well, family comes first. Yes.
Paula said you waited for Ultimate Wolverine versus Hulk to finish, and that took like 7 years. So
well,
true.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we all grew up, especially a lot of us anyway, with the Image days where I like, unless it was Spawn, it really wasn't coming out monthly. So, you know, you had to wait months on end for the next issue to come out just because I mean, honestly, I think a lot of them were pretty much just lazy. But with us, this isn't, like I said, this isn't our full-time gig. We want it to be. We would love this to be. You know, that's a dream. And hey, if you're doing this full-time and you're a pro, awesome. That's dope. We support that. You know, we respect what you do. But, you know, as individual, like just part-time creators, I guess you could say, you know, it's a grind. Like we really put it, I can't count how many hours I spent away from family or not doing things or just because I'm hunkered down from like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. working on pages or like, you know, stuff like that. So
I think it's there's a bit of a compromise, not compromise, where how do you say that you promised something and people gave you money for that and you ought to deliver it, right? Then there's, of course, you know, real life and stuff that happens. I think for me, late books is one thing, but what I have a bit of a problem is that, for example, you're like a new guy and you make like $5,000, which is, you know, money, but it's not, you know, a huge, that's not enough to create one comic, no? And then I can have more understanding if they're late and this and that. If you make like hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're very late, then it's like, I don't know. And the other thing that really grinds my gears when people don't post updates. Like it costs you nothing to just, you know, like, hey guys, this is the new page, this is the new color, or, you know, life happened to me, I'm in the hospital, dying, whatever. Just, you know, post an
please don't die.
Please don't die, of course.
Please don't die. And like you say, full transparency. And I have seen plenty of people who do make like the larger figures post updates and they're like, oh, I'm in the hospital. They'll show photos or it's not just like one person it's happened to, it's happened to many of them. And or even, hey, look at Sheen had a baby. You know what I mean? Like that's a very important, his first kid. Like, hey man, your book can be late if you're spending time with your firstborn child. That, you know, I'll understand that you're trying to create memories. Like I get it, you know, but don't make it 7 years late. Please.
Oh no,
man.
Well, I've said this on stream before. Also, like if you do a page a week and you're doing a 48 pager, that's a year. That's a year. Like that's just drawing it. That's not coloring or anything like that. Like just drawing it. If you do it, by the time you're done drawing that one page, the color should have that one page done within that week as well. So there's no reason why it shouldn't take a year to do a 48 pager. Now some of these books are way more than. Look at that. That's 300 pages. You're a lunatic, Joe. But that's just insanity. I don't know why you're thinking like that. But yeah, I mean, late books is probably, I would say, the number one talking point aside from shipping cost, or like I think is the number 2 talking point for these crowdfunders. But the problem is both of those can be addressed and explained away pretty logically and reasonably with shipping, especially. Like it's not our fault shipping costs what it costs at all. If you order something on eBay, it even costs a lot of money to ship it to you. Like these things just cost money to ship to places. You guys both live overseas, not cheap. You know, like, you get a Critical Blast to fulfill it or RJ or whoever, but there's still other countries you got to send it to that cost a lot of money.
Like Australia or Canada or whatever.
Oh, gosh, Canada.
Canada and Australia.
Jason, Dan is asking, Dan Plagle is in the chat. Hello, Dan. He's feeling targeted right now with the timing on coloring.
Hey, no. Everything I say relates to Billy. No, I mean ink file. Not Billy. No. Okay. Great example right there.
He's projecting.
Great example right there, even though. Like, we were waiting on the colors, but like even like Plagle has to like do more with the book, and he got cancer. Like all this stuff happened. Like he's still dealing with cancer. So,
that Plagle, he's been fighting for his life.
Yeah, literally.
He's like battling stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
And he's still working on the book. It's like,
hail Dan.
Dude, he is a trooper, man. I mean,
and Plagle, if you're still listening, what was that European book that you have that has like 1 or 2 panels per page? If you know what I'm talking about, please say that in the chat because it was dope and I was telling them about it. But What?
Oh no, he just says he's coloring Goblin Girl while watching 5 pages left, friends.
Yeah, he's on page 5. You heard him.
Yeah. Oh,
He's on page 5. No. All right, let's. I know we're here to talk about Gemini Crusaders, but yeah, I mean, Goblin Girl's dope. I am very privileged to hang out with Billy and Dan. I get to see the development of it, and those colors, it'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, they're so beautiful.
Good.
By the way, big shout out to Billy. He made the logo.
Oh, why are we shilling this book? Oh, why you didn't say that?
You just lost 3 viewers.
Oh,
you saying that 3 people left.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Go back to the book.
No, Billy,
Back the book before you go.
I have a cool logo. Come on.
No, Billy does great work. Billy does great work.
Yeah.
Dan is saying it would be an Italian fumetti book. I have quite a few different ones. The one maybe that you saw was Megas.
Okay, so that's the book I was talking.
And Tad's done.
No, but Billy does great work, and he did your logo. That's pretty dope.
He did the logo.
Oh yeah. Chad Townsend's here. Hey Chad. He's all like he's out. Thanks, Billy.
Chad, we want to have you on next week. Let us know if it can happen.
Yeah, I'll have a computer next week, so come on. It'll be nice.
That's the main reason.
Sorry again.
No. So medieval tales, space adventures, and stuff like that. You got everything combined into one kind of. I love the Jimbles. I love the aliens. I love stuff like that. Who's that?
There was a guy in his room. He's done too. He just got here and he's out. Jeez.
No. Hey, link is pinned to the top of the chat and in the description below. Please
check
go
this
back.
Book out. Back it.
Right on. Dope artwork. Once again, who's your creative team again? Just so we can go over that.
Well, it's the artist is Sid Tellis. Like I said, he's the main artist, and he's also on board on the next one. So we already talked about that. We have, of course, David here for the lettering. I mean, for us as co-writer. Nice. For the how to say the lettering, we have John Hervey, from the Black Tiger.
Yeah, John's dope too. Good friend.
Yeah. We have 2 colorists, Marcos Martins, and we have Federico Siok. He's doing the colors, so you see also on the preview pages, a little bit different color style. So 50-50, and me, of course.
Of course,
that's the whole team, and we have a couple of covers done by Alan Goldman, also Federico Siok as the colorist, and Everton Lirio.
Let's go over those tiers. Sorry, don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
Let's do that. Yeah. Because you're talking about the cover, so we could talk about the artist whenever we go over that. So now, as we said earlier, Jason, I have my magnifier on, but I'm blind as worse. I'm not as blind as Fanta. But so the first one is a Crusaders digital. So you got the digital, unlike Red Eyes. Digital. Hey, Frog doesn't have one either. Neither did Absolute. Don't worry about it. Nice. That's good. Once again, shipping is low end cost on that one of $0. So if you live overseas,
nice. Right? I mean, digital option is a must.
It's a must. Right. And now you got you got Gemini and Crusaders cover A.
Yes.
Nice. 16 US. Nice. So who did cover A?
That is Alan Goldman.
Nice. Alan Goldman.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you have Gemini Crusaders cover B.
By the artist Sid Tellis. I wanted to have an action cover, a post cover, and some kind of a horror cover. And nice. He did some kind of a digital watering technique. Looks really cool in my opinion.
Oh, cool. There's some programs you could use. Like I've recently been using a program called Rebel 7, and you can mimic watercolors and oils, and it's great. I love it. So yeah, I've been using that. Nice. Maybe that's what he used. I don't know. So and then you have what we got here.
Paul Roderick's artist of Perfect 10 by Dave Brink.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Dave's a good dude. I like the price point, by the way, on your books. Great price point. $16 for 32 pages is a pretty solid, full color, so you can't beat it. Yeah. It's a great price point. And then you have Gemini Crusaders covers AB. You got the bundle. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So five already claimed that, so I'm very happy with that people are interested in all the covers. So
I mean, it's the way to go, and it looks like do you save a couple bucks on that? It looks like you do. Am I math right?
I mean, Well, the cost is the same, but you save on shipping.
Yeah, so there you go. You save on shipping, and that's the best bang for your buck at that point. Then,
Right.
if you get that, which is a good way to go, because those covers are pretty sick. So you gotta want them all. And this is the final tier? It looks like here you got a.
Well, to be honest, I made a mistake on the campaign. Well, yeah. I had the original Alan Goldman pencil cover for sale, and I accidentally set that on infinity instead of 1. So somebody claimed it already in, I don't know, less than 15 or half an hour or something. I was really blown away.
Nice. He's good. He's good. So
he's so good.
Yeah, he's really good.
So I think, you know what, I have to put this off until, because somebody might claim the second or the third one, but there's only 1 copy. So yeah, I'm sorry. So I need to take it off. And so this is a sketch perk with a comic and a digital as well. So everyone that gets the physical perk gets also the digital.
Oh, okay, cool. So this you get kind of almost everything. Your choice of cover, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you kind of get a good. That's a good price point for getting almost everything. You don't get all 3 covers because that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So I can bombard this whole campaign with a lot of perks and all that stuff.
I like it. I like what you got here. I like the streamline. Like Kickstarter is very daunting to me because you'll go in there and next thing you know what, you have there's 75 tiers. You don't know which one to back. You don't know what to add on. I like these streamlined campaigns. Now, do you have add-ons in the back end? Like if I were to back and I want cover A and C.
Yes.
And then okay, nice. And that's the way to do it, in my opinion. You have the tiers the way you have it, and then you have your add-ons back end that you can kind of customize your own tier in a way. And I think that's the smartest way to go about it. So I like what you did. Yeah, very good, very good. The only thing I don't see is a featured tier. Now, it doesn't make that big of a deal, but the reason why people do a featured tier is kind of like, hey, this is the best bang for your buck. This is like the and usually people will like just click that on impulse.
Yes.
So like if your featured tier is like the book plus digital, like because you think that's the best kind of savings you can get, and like that'll intrigue you more. You make that the featured tier. People are like, okay, well this is what the creator is recommending to me. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up.
Right.
It draws you in a little bit. So my recommendation would be to have a featured tier of some kind of your choice. It doesn't matter which one it is, but of your choice, and that way people can be like, oh, this is the good one. This is the one I want. So yeah.
Yes, that's actually good. We totally forgot about that.
Yeah. No, but like I said, I love the campaign. It looks great. The layout looks
fantastic.
It's
beautiful.
Yeah, you did a great job. I would say maybe a cover up top would be nice too.
Okay.
A cover, an image of one of your covers, like the main cover, maybe to be like the first thing you see. That way people are like, oh, because main covers are like the covers are splash pages, and like that's the artist spends a lot of, so that's kind of like the piece that gets displayed. So it's like once people see that, it's kind of like when you're writing, you want the first sentence to really grab the person.
Yeah.
So whenever you open the book, if you're scrolling down, you see the logo, which is dope. But you kind of want to see the thing that grabs you and pulls you in and be like, oh, I want to scroll down more then and see what else is it. Because one thing I hate is whenever I scroll, I see it's a dope cover, don't get me wrong, and then it does bite me in, and then I scroll down and the interiors are just look like a 2-year-old did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man. But I will say this though.
I know that.
But I will say this, it did work because I kept scrolling. Like I saw the cover, I'm like, oh, this is cool. What's it about? And then you see the images, and then if the images are good, you're going to go ahead and read the bio and read the description. Like, oh, what's the story about? So
yeah, can I share a page?
Yes, I want you to.
Okay, good. Just give me a second.
Are you? Is it going to be screen share, or is it going to be a?
Yeah, I'm going to do a screen share, but I have to find it. Oh, wait a minute. Is that? Give me a second, please.
No worries. While we're going, David, tell us about your life, everything in it, and who you are. In one sentence.
What? Everything
Give
in one
us the
sentence.
elevator pitch of your life right now, please.
One sentence, sir. Go.
Oh my God.
Come on. I need to find a page, David.
That's my
You gotta
life.
find a page.
A succession of failures and getting
Tell us
nervous.
a story.
Yeah, there you go.
I got it. I got it.
Okay, you got
Nice.
it saved.
You're
Saved
safe.
on the page.
I'm safe.
Jeez.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Ooh, look
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is a.
Ooh.
I mean, in the beginning, there's a lot of action, and then we're going to slow down, and we have a little bit of a flashback how it all came to be. Not everything has been told in this book because I want to leave something for everyone. But this is a campfire story, how it all came to be years ago. And basically, we have two sisters, Vivienne and Isabel. Isabel is the blonde one, and she likes books. She is in the library a lot. She has this professor with her that's basically her teacher. And her sister is more, the opposite. She's a hunter. She is a provider. She likes to, go in the outside, sleeping under the stars. And basically, there's a story being told here about what happened 800 years ago. So we have this bunch of aliens coming to this town. But of course, the people drove them away. And then the inevitable happened. Something crashed down into the mountain. And then we see here on the right, all these people, all these aliens wants to help those disfigured poor people, but they are too late and they are basically dying. Yeah. Oh no.
that's dope. Look at that. Nice
Right?
job. Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah. So that one I want to give it a little bit more contest, etc. So yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Is that the right layout? That's the right layout.
That's the way out.
Nice. No, that looks dope. Everybody, check out Gemini Crusaders. Link is pinned to the top of the chat and the description below. Hey, if you can't back right now, I can't back right now. I plan on backing later because Jason's got to do his taxes because he put them off too long. But no, I plan on backing this. This looks sick. I like it. I like the art. I like the concept. It sounds like a fun story. And there's a digital tier, so I can maybe read it. So yeah, but if you can't back right now, share it out on your social media of your choice. Share out the campaign. Get the eyes out there because this thing is criminally underfunded, in my opinion. But not to say it won't get funded. I think it will. I think it's got legs, and it'll get there. Because you have a month and 14 days, so you still got plenty
at least, yeah.
You got plenty of time as long as you keep doing the legwork and getting out there on these streams that promoting as much as you can. Hit up all these little guys that, hey, I get more backers on the little guys than I get anywhere else, so it tends to happen. And not to say that the big guys don't help. Big guys help. They help. So yeah, but
My mic is purring. That's me. What do you mean?
That's me. Hold on, where are we at here? So we're at the end of the show pretty much. But Angela, are there any last questions in the chat?
No questions. Just Pale Rider's just being Pale Rider right now.
What's up, Pale Rider? Do you have any last questions, Angela?
Do I? I have no questions. I would look forward to backing this book.
Yeah.
This computer.
I have one last question. Both of our guests, by the way, David, thank you for coming on. You were
thank you for inviting me.
Marinus. Great to meet you.
Thank you so much.
But I have a last question. We're going to go around. David, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Me?
You?
Ooh. I think I would be able to go invisible.
Invisibility is
good. I knew that.
That's great.
Peeping Tom.
You could go grocery shopping with all your fans bothering you. Like, oh, I get it. I'm famous. I'm on YouTube. I'm the writer of Red Eyes. I get it. I get it.
So I just bye.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Marinus,
I would never use it for evil. I would never use it for evil.
What? I would. What are you talking about?
Going to the girls?
No, I wouldn't do that. No.
Mess with your friends, Why else?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't go full on Invisible
so
Man.
mean.
What was Kevin Bacon territory? I wouldn't. Marinus, what if you could have any superpower? What would it be?
Well, when I was younger, I wanted to be immortal because I always thought myself, oh man, I wish I could see when people go into space, building spaceships and all that stuff. I'm that kind of guy. But then immortal is not a fun thing. You get lonely, sometimes maybe the humanity isn't there anymore, right? So I thought, you know what, let's do something simple. I think telekinesis is always something like a cool invisible.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I stick with that. I like that, you know.
I like that one too. I like telekinesis. It's
Yeah,
good.
moving things with your mind, you know,
Yeah.
secretly, nobody can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immorality. Not only do I not have a computer, but I don't know how to talk. Immortality results in
It's
insanity.
like I'm watching
Yeah,
Lord Raptor Jesus up
absolutely.
in here. It's hard for you.
Telekinesis is cool. Yep.
No, that's a
good
dope
stuff.
one. I like that one. What I really liked was the stream. Great time at a great.
Cool.
Like I said,
Yeah, it's a
everybody,
good
please
time.
check it out. Check out Gemini Crusaders. Give it a back. Share it if you can. You know,
And thanks to some person for dropping links today.
oh,
So
always our
you so
mods in the
much.
chat.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you,
so
man.
much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and everybody for showing up. Really appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Sign up for IG. Whatever. Who cares? Have a great one, everybody. I'm hitting this button.
Hey.
Long day,